Okay, we're going to go back on the record. After our lunch break, I'll note that Mr. Wolfenbarger is present here in the courtroom. Any matters we need to take up before we bring the jury back in? Mr. Fossett?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McDermott?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we're ready for the jury. Thank you all. Please be seated. Deputy, please wait for just a minute.
Dixon?
Thank you. Come on up, sir, to the witness stand. And when you get to the witness stand, if you will turn and face the deputy before you have a seat, raise your right hand. She'll swear you in. Okay, sir?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that testimony shall give this court today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you.
I do.
You may be seated. Once seated, please take and swear your full name for the record.
Just pull up to the microphone, get close situated. Just be cautious of those wheels on that ledge there.
Okay. My name is Thomas Michael Dixon.
And you can move the microphone towards you if it is helpful. And could you spell your name, please, sir?
Thomas, Thomas, Dixon, Dixon.
Okay. Mr. Dixon, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Tell the court, were you in the Atlanta area in 1998?
Yes.
All right. At that point, how long had you been living in the Atlanta area?
I've been in the Atlanta area since '93. This is when I first arrived here in Georgia.
All right. Now, during that period...
Forgive me. I definitely am going to need you to pull that microphone towards you.
Okay.
Make sure my court reporter and I can hear you clearly. Thank you, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Fossett.
All right. During that period, were you employed?
Yes.
And what were you doing for a living?
Waffle House.
And what did you do while you were working at Waffle House?
I cooked.
All right. And that would have been in that period of 1998?
Yes.
Specifically, what locations, Waffle House locations, did you work at?
Many locations. When I first got there in '93, I started out on Buford Highway in Doraville. And then I transferred from there. As shortly, it was, I can't say the exact year, '97. It was after the Olympics.
Okay.
And I transferred over to Peachtree Corners.
And do you remember what time of year you would have been at Peachtree Corners?
Yeah, it was in 1998.
Okay, would that have been at the beginning, the middle, or the end of 1998?
About the middle.
All right. You familiar with the name Melissa Wolfenbarger?
Yes, sir.
How do you know that name?
She was my waitress.
All right. And when you say waitress, describe what your role at Waffle House and what her role would have been.
I was like the shift supervisor, cook, management. At that time, earlier in my career, I was just mostly a cook and just a shift supervisor.
Okay. And what types of, when you say you were a supervisor, what types of responsibilities would a supervisor have in relationship to, say, a waitress, as Melissa Wolfenbarger would have been employed in?
It's a team effort. When we work together, we help each other out, support each other on the floor, take care of customers.
Do you recall what locations, Waffle House locations, you would have worked at with Melissa Wolfenbarger?
Yes.
What locations were those?
I started working with her in Doraville on a Beaufort Highway location, and then I seen her again over when I transferred to I can't think of the unit number. It's Peachtree Corners though. The one I transferred to Peachtree Corners. She was over there.
Okay. How would you describe your relationship with Melissa Wolfenbarger?
She was my friend. She was one of my really close friends. The girls that I work with are, it's kind of like a family thing at Waffle House. You know, we establish a close relationship when we work with each other.
Did you talk about your families, your children with Melissa Wolfenbarger? Did you discuss that?
No.
Did Melissa Wolfenbarger discuss her personal circumstances with you?
She usually did it to another waitress. She usually talked to another waitress that was one of our friends. Her name was Elizabeth, and her name was Elizabeth. Uh-huh. And Elizabeth would come back and tell me, you know, me back at that time I was
Sustained.
Well, I didn't get that he was going to repeat an out-of-court statement. Now, Mr. Dixon, we want to try to avoid repeating anything that someone else said out of court.
okay.
But I do want to keep you on that period at Waffle House in '98. When you started working with Melissa at, I believe you said it was the Doraville location?
Yes.
Around what time of year would that have been?
About the middle of the year, I'd say.
And then do you recall around what time of year you would have started working with Melissa at the Peachtree Corners location?
Later that year.
And at any point, can you tell the jury if the nature of your relationship with Melissa Wolfenbarger changed at any point?
We just became closer.
All right. At any point, did you become intimate with Melissa Wolfenbarger?
Yes.
Can you tell us around when in the relationship during the year did that occur?
In the year, probably around toward the later fall.
Okay. And when you say intimate, did Melissa ever spend any time at any location that you may have been staying at during that period?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Yes, she, when I first met her, it was her birthday, and I took her out for a birthday dinner across the street from where we worked at in Doraville to a Chinese restaurant. And we had too much to drink, and we went and got a hotel room behind the Waffle House that night. And I was respectful. None of us, we didn't have any intercourse or no sexual relations that night. She went home the next morning because she said she had to get back to her kids. And we continued to work. You know, she came in, I went home, she went home, and we came back to work at 2:30 in the afternoon. We worked the afternoon shift.
All right. At any point, did you come to learn that Melissa was married?
Yes.
How did you learn that?
I believe it was just her sharing with Elizabeth and talking to me.
Okay. Did she actually discuss, did she actually tell you that she was married?
No.
Melissa never told you that she was married?
Not that she was married, but I knew she had a boyfriend.
Did you ever meet that person that you describe as being Melissa's boyfriend?
One time.
All right. Do you recall that instance when you met him?
Yes.
What do you recall about that date?
It was in the evening, and we was both about ready to get off work, and Chris showed up at the job, and he came inside the restaurant, and I was on the grill cooking, and Melissa was over there sitting down talking to him at the booth, and then she got up and ran to the back room, was crying, and I went to the back room and asked her what's wrong, and she was just, I couldn't really understand what she was, because she was crying, hysterical. And she said something about it was him, you know, he's messing with her. So he was on his way out, and I followed him out, and I told him, I said, leave her alone until 9 o'clock. I said, after 9 o'clock, then you can have her, but until then, she's mine.
Okay. How close to you how close were you to the person you described as being Melissa's boyfriend? How close were you to him at the time you said that?
We was in front of each other, maybe a couple feet apart.
They're both outside.
Yes.
And was there any response at that time?
No.
What happened after that?
Just turned around and went and got in his car, and I went back inside, and we went back to work.
At any point, did you see that individual leave the restaurant?
Who? Chris?
Yes.
He was leaving when I followed him out.
Okay. Yeah. Did you see him leave in the vehicle?
Yeah, with her that night when they left.
How would you describe the manner in which he drove off?
Very irate.
What do you mean by that?
Tires were squealing and peeling up and down the road.
Did it appear to you at the time that he was upset?
Yeah.
Now, at that point, had you and Melissa become intimate?
Yes.
All right. And when did that occur?
I don't know exactly when. It was, she stayed with me for about 4 or 5 days during that week because, let me see, I had came to work one day, and we always go back and smoke cigarettes, and we would be drinking beer or something while we're at work, and we would talk, and she would tell me, you know, about an abusive relationship she was in.
Okay. If I can get you to just speak up so I can make sure I'm hearing everything that you're saying, could you repeat that?
Yeah, she would talk to me about her abusive relationship with Chris.
Okay. How, and you say abusive, but when you describe it as abusive, what exactly did she say to give you the impression she was describing abuse?
I mean, she wouldn't really exactly describe the details, but I could see it. It was visible on her body.
And what do you mean by that?
The marks, the scratches, the bruises.
Okay. You saw signs of what appeared to be abuse.
Yeah.
And where on her body would you see that?
On her arms. I seen one on her cheekbone.
And besides the individual that you're referring to, did you know any of Melissa's family, sister? Did you know any family members?
No. Mm-mm.
And when you and Melissa had become intimate, was there any point when you had unprotected sex with Melissa Wolfenbarger?
Yes.
And would that have been towards that end period you've been testifying to in 1998?
Yes. And
how soon after, say, you became intimate, the last point when you were intimate with Melissa Wolfenbarger was the last time you actually saw her?
Maybe a day or two later.
Okay.
That's when we went to work, and that's when Chris came up there to the job, and she said she had to go home. She mentioned something about her kids.
Okay. And at that point, did you have the knowledge that she had children?
I always she talked about her kids. Yeah.
And then how would she, when she would talk about her children, how would she speak about them?
Very briefly. I mean, it wasn't really a topic. You know, she said she had kids and she missed them. She said that a few times while we was together.
Do you remember describing a type of vehicle that you saw the defendant drive off in?
Yeah, it was like a yellow slug bug back in the 90s. You know, like a Volkswagen.
Volkswagen,
yeah.
Okay. Like a Volkswagen Beetle, is that what you just?
Yes.
One moment, Judge.
Okay.
Mr. Dixon, do you recall giving a statement to law enforcement, the detectives in this case?
Yeah, back in 2003.
Okay, back in 2003.
Yeah.
All right. Do you recall a time frame that you were able to give the detectives as to the last date, the last month that you saw Melissa Wolfenbarger?
I believe I told them the same thing that I told you, yeah.
You recall what was that date that you saw Melissa Wolfenbarger, the actual month itself?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. If you were to see a copy of some of your report, would that assist in refreshing your recollection?
Most likely would. Starting right here where it's starting right there.
Just read it to yourself. Read it in the microphone.
In December.
No, sorry. He's telling you to just read it to yourself because he wants to know if reading that refreshes your memory about the question he's just asked you. So if you could just read it to yourself and then he'll ask you a question.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. After having looked at that, do you recall the month that you told law enforcement you saw Melissa Wolfenbarger in 98?
Yes.
And what month was that?
December.
Okay. That's all I have, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. McDermott?
Mr. Dixon, you and I have never had the opportunity of speaking together before. Okay.
Mr. Dixon, if you would, that was, I think you were nodding your head. Did you mean yes?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay. If you'll just try and give an out loud yes or no.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry.
So you just mentioned that the first time you kind of began to get intimate with Melissa was on her birthday. Is that correct?
Well, no, nothing happened that night.
Okay.
No.
But
I liked her. We liked each other. You know, we was growing closer.
Didn't you share a room that night?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, nothing ever happened though.
And at the time you lived with a woman named Deborah, is that correct?
Yes. Yes, I was living with Deborah. Yeah.
And she had an ex-husband that she lived with?
John.
And you rented a room from them?
Yes.
And you were also having an affair with Deborah also, is that correct?
Yes.
And when Deborah found out you were having an affair with Melissa, that kind of a trouble happened at Waffle House, right?
Yeah.
And did the manager require one of y'all to leave or to come up with some settlement of that?
No.
Okay. And you said Melissa stayed with you a few times?
Just she stayed with me one time, and I wasn't living with Deborah at that time. I was over in Liberty Heights after I moved out of Deborah's house.
Okay. You got a new place of your own?
Yes.
Were you renting a room there too, or did you have your own place?
Yeah.
Okay. But you had a little more freedom.
Yes.
This incident where you say that you met her boyfriend and he picked her up in the car, apparently he did something to make her cry in the store, right?
Yes.
And then he goes out to the car, and then later that night, she gets in the car and leaves with him. And you just, is that correct?
No, he went out. As he was going to the car, that's when I came out behind him.
But later that night, she got in that car
When she was off, yes.
when she got off after 9 o'clock.
Yes.
And you described that car as a yellow Volkswagen.
Yeah.
And are you aware that Christopher never owned a yellow Volkswagen?
No.
And you said he peeled out down the road? Mm-hmm. The phrase you used, I think, was he was squalling up and down the road?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to squall out in a Volkswagen Beetle?
No.
Do you remember telling deputies or telling an investigator that you had sex with Melissa multiple times?
Maybe I might have.
Did you have sex with Melissa multiple times?
No, maybe
3 times?
2-3 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember asking Melissa if she could get pregnant?
No.
If I showed you a transcript of your interview with Detective Calhoun in 2003, would that maybe refresh your memory?
Probably, yes.
And I apologize for the fine print. Please read this here.
I don't remember asking her.
Don't answer any questions yet.
Okay.
You did ask her if she could get pregnant, and she told you no. Isn't that correct?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't think I did.
You've testified here about Melissa talking about her children, and you said 2 things that weren't clear to me. On the one hand, you said she didn't really talk about her children, but then you also said, yeah, she mentioned her children a few times and said she missed them,
Yeah.
or that she needed to get back to them.
Yeah, we didn't really get into like detail about her kids, you know, because we was always just having fun, just drinking and socializing.
Yeah.
We didn't go in and get into no details.
But did she talk about her children to you?
I've heard her say some stuff about her kids, like she missed them and stuff like that.
Do you remember telling Detective Calhoun that she never talked about her children?
No.
If I showed you a transcript of that interview, may it refresh your memory?
Maybe.
We'll take a chance.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on, I'm sorry. That's his question. My apologies. That.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. That up there?
What is what?
You ever mentioned any other parents?
Hey, forgive me, but don't read it out loud, please. Thank you.
I mean, I don't,
To be clear, that was his question to you.
oh,
So when Detective Calhoun asked you if she ever talked about her family or her parents or anybody to you, you told him that she didn't talk about her mom, dad, brothers, sisters, nothing. She never even talked about her kids.
she told me she had kids. I mean,
Okay.
if you want to consider that talking about them, I don't know.
You say that Melissa was close to you and that she disclosed these details, or you didn't say that she disclosed these details. Do you remember talking to these people, Mr. Fawcett and a couple of investigators, maybe a few weeks ago? Do you remember that?
Where at my residence?
In Rome, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So they came out and interviewed you freshly regarding the details of what happened back then.
Yes.
And do you remember them telling you something about her telling you about instances of abuse?
We didn't go over what was discussed in the 2003 interview.
Apologize, sir, but if you could lean forward, you are really quiet.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
My question is, do you remember telling them at that time about an instance that Melissa told you about abuse?
I mean, she mentioned stuff about being, abused.
So you just testified here this morning that she did not tell you about instances of abuse, but that you only saw marks on her body.
I seen marks on her body, and I heard from her, that he was abusive. I mean, but
You literally just testified a while ago
okay.
that she did not tell you about instances of abuse. Isn't that correct?
Okay.
And when you talk to these, I keep pointing to them, but it was really only Mr. Fawcett that was with the group. And Detective Shepard was with that group, and Detective Kennedy, I believe. When you talked to that group a few weeks ago, do you remember telling them that you have been interested in Melissa's case all across the years?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And did you a couple of times tell them that you had watched videos?
Yes.
Okay. What videos had you watched about Melissa?
Just when the cold case files.
So you've watched media presentations about her case.
Yeah.
And isn't it the case that you took some details from what you heard and told them to the investigators a few weeks ago as if they were things you remembered?
No. It's just what I can remember, what I can't remember.
Is it possible that some of the things you've listened to over 20 years of videos and interest in Melissa has combined with the things that you think you remember about her?
I haven't heard anything.
Is it possible?
No, I haven't heard anything until I found out he was arrested.
So if he was arrested a year ago, you've had at least a year to watch videos?
Yeah.
Did you listen to any podcasts?
No.
Okay. You testified just a few minutes ago that when Melissa decided to leave at one point, she told you she had to go home because she missed her kids or something about her kids.
Yeah.
But again, you told Detective Calhoun back in the days, which was much closer, that she never talked about her kids.
If I did, I did.
And would you agree with me that the interview you gave Detective Calhoun in 2003 was much closer to the events than today?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember telling the investigators a few weeks ago that it was difficult, or that Melissa never kept in touch with you because we didn't have cell phones back then?
What about it? What was your question?
Do you remember telling the detectives a few weeks ago that one reason you couldn't keep in touch with Melissa is because we didn't have cell phones back then?
I might have said that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember telling Detective Calhoun in 2003 that you had a cell phone?
I might have had one in prepaid one.
So you would have had a cell phone?
I might have had one around that, when, 2003?
Yes.
I don't think.
If I showed you your comments from 2003, would that
You can,
refresh?
yeah.
you do remember telling Detective Calhoun in 2003 that you had a cell phone.
That ain't got nothing to do with 2003.
This interview was given in 2003.
What was that that I was reading about?
Hang on, sir. I don't want you to state the substance of what you read, but you can ask him for clarification.
You're asking about what you were reading?
Yeah.
I believe you were describing an incident in which you had gotten into some altercation with some other boys.
Right.
And what year did that happen?
Yeah, that was around 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this interview was given to Detective Calhoun in 2003, correct?
Well, I don't understand. Why would he have that interview of something totally different in 2000?
You were describing many things during that interview with Detective Calhoun, right?
Okay.
It was about an hour-long interview. Is that correct?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And it just happened to be one of the things you were telling him about.
When I got in trouble?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was before 2003 when he came to see me, though.
Okay, so you had a cell phone already in 2000.
That was, yeah, prepaid.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Now, you've testified here today that you saw marks on Melissa's body, her cheekbone, I think you said scratches on her arms and legs.
Bruises, yeah.
Bruises. And isn't it true that when you were interviewed in 2003, you never mentioned abuse, you never mentioned bruises, you never mentioned scratches, you never mentioned a single altercation to Detective Calhoun?
That might have been possible.
Isn't that correct?
Oh, I don't know if it's correct. It might be possible.
Have you ever had a chance to review the interview you gave Detective Calhoun in 2003?
No.
The DA's office didn't tell you? Do you remember an interview you gave in 2003?
I remember the interview, yeah.
In preparing you for testifying, did they tell you about a 2003 interview?
No.
Okay. And they didn't give you a transcript of it? And if I told you that in 34 pages of that transcript, there's not a single mention of bruising, altercations, scratches, or anything between Chris and Melissa, would you deny that?
I don't know. What do you mean, what I denied?
Would you deny that you never mentioned any of those things in that interview?
In the 2003 interview? I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
Do you remember telling the investigators a few weeks ago that you and Melissa regularly worked together?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember telling Detective Calhoun in 2003 that you only ever worked the same shift twice in the whole time that you knew her?
No.
If I showed you the transcript, would that maybe refresh your interview?
Yeah.
Your recollection?
Sure. I don't remember this. As my statement?
To clarify, yes, that's your statement. You don't remember then telling Calhoun that I don't know who worked with her because we didn't work the same shift. I worked with her one day. Matter of fact, it's 2 days.
No, I don't remember saying that.
Okay. Just a moment, Your Honor, please.
Sure.
Mr. Dixon, have you ever been convicted of a felony?
Yes,
And when was the most recent time?
2010.
2010. Did they convict you of a new felony, or did they just violate your probation?
Probation violation,
Okay.
yeah.
And what was the reason for that probation violation?
Non-reporting.
In 2010?
No, 2010 is when I got arrested.
Okay. And what were you convicted of?
Robbery by intimidation.
And you were robbing a bank, is that correct?
Yes.
And you told the teller...
Not banks, one bank.
I thought I said a bank. I'm sorry. And how much time did you serve?
10 years.
10 years. And you got out in 2020, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Fawcett?
Mr. Dixon, when did you come to find out about Melissa Wolfenbarger's open code case?
When he came and talked to me in 2003, but then I didn't hear nothing else until 2010 when I went to prison.
Okay. Did you ever see a card or image?
Yes.
With Melissa Wolfenbarger's
Yes.
image on it?
When I went to jail in 2010, I haven't heard anything since 2003. The interview with the detective, and then I went to jail in Fulton County in 2010, and I was playing cards, and her picture was on a playing card. It was a cold case files.
Okay. Prior to that, did you have any knowledge of that there was an actual open case pending?
No, I didn't. I moved on, forgot.
Now, in addition to the abrasions that you've testified that you observed, did Melissa ever describe did she ever describe verbally with any type of detail what the defendant had done to her?
I heard one time that she was pulled by her hair up and down the sidewalk.
Okay. And who exactly are you referring to, and who was pulled by the hair?
Melissa.
And to the best of your recollection, who was it that's it's being described as the person who's responsible for that?
Christopher.
And is that information that you would have received from Melissa Wolfenbarger during that 1998 period?
Yeah.
That's all I have, Judge.
Anything else, Mr. McDermott?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may step down.
Okay.
Witness can be excused. Mr. Fawcett? Or may the witness be excused? Okay.
No objections, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You are excused. Ms. Hilton, state may call its next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Christina Garrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, while the witness is coming in, I just want to apologize for all of my sniffling. I got a case of the sniffles over the weekend, so sorry about that. So why don't we go ahead and let the witness come on up, and then y'all can get that arranged. Thank you, ma'am. If you'll come up to the witness stand, when you get there, before you have a seat, if you'll turn and face the deputy and raise your right hand, she'll swear you in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, you may be seated. One seat.
Christina Garrett.
And good afternoon. How old are you?
Just turned 30.
And when you say you just turned 30, when was your birthday?
August 15th,
Was that on Friday?
Friday. Yes, ma'am.
And do you have any siblings?
Yes.
How many?
I have one full, one half, both brothers.
Hang on,
Want you to speak
forgive
up
me,
for-
yeah. Actually, normally I'm telling witnesses to scoot forward, but I think you're so far forward that you're talking past the microphone.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. If you'll just
Here?
scoot up towards the microphone so that you're
Okay.
in front of it to make sure that we can hear you, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right, now you said you have one full brother.
Correct.
What do you mean by when you say I have one full brother?
By the same mom and the same dad.
And who is what's the name of that brother?
Joey,
And who is your mother and your father?
Melissa, and Chris Wolfenbarger.
And how old is Joey?
Turned 29 on July 5th,
And what year was he born?
1996.
And then you have a second. Is that a half brother or sister?
Half brother,
What is his name?
alias,
And what year was he born?
2006.
And do you all share the same father?
Correct.
Are you the oldest?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you currently working?
No, ma'am.
Have you previously worked?
I have.
What type of work have you done?
I was a server at a steakhouse, and I worked in hotels briefly.
Are you married?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many children do you have?
3 boys.
Now, were you raised by Melissa Wolfenbarger or Christopher Wolfenbarger?
Christopher Wolfenbarger's parents raised me.
And what are their names?
Kathy and Alan.
These are Chris's parents?
Yes, ma'am.
And what's their last name?
Wolfenbarger.
Your Honor, we can't see the demonstrative. It'd be helpful if we could all see it.
Your Honor, if you put it up there, they won't be able to see the witness, so we've...
Well, I will, I mean, it will block the jury door. We'll have to move it, but if you want to put it there, then everybody would be able to see it, and possibly the only person that with their back to it would be you.
Okay,
If you put it there to the left of the TV screen.
okay. I'll have them do it while I continue to ask questions.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
And did you have a name for Alan?
Yes, I called him Boo. B-O-O.
And have you always called him Boo?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you were younger, what, if anything, did you call Kathy?
At first, Mom.
And at some point in time, did that change from calling her mom?
It did.
We'll get there.
Okay.
When you were younger, who did you think was your biological mother?
Chris's parents.
Did you think that Alan was your father as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you think Kathy was your mother?
That was my earliest memories were with her and with Boo.
When you were younger, did anyone ever tell you that Kathy was not your biological mother?
No.
When you were younger, did Kathy ever talk to you about Melissa?
No, ma'am.
Did Alan ever talk to you about Melissa?
No, ma'am.
Now, at any point in time, did you ever live with anyone else besides Kathy or Alan?
I didn't go stay with Chris until senior year of high school, but until then I lived with both of them.
I apologize.
Same.
No, you're fine. Just try and keep your voice up a little bit because Miss Cantrell and I have our back. You have your back to us.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Now, do Kathy and Boo have any other children?
They had Chris and then his sister Kimberly, who we called Kitty.
Who's older, Chris or Kitty?
Chris.
And you said Kitty's name is Kimberly?
Kimberly. Yes, ma'am.
When you were younger, who did you think Chris and Kimberly struck at? What relationship did you think that Chris and Kimberly were to you?
Older siblings.
Now, at any point in time, did you ever meet Kathy's parents?
Yes.
Okay. And tell the jurors what is Kathy's parents' mother's name?
Virginia Autry. We called her Nanny.
And then what is Kathy's father's name?
William Autry. We called him Papa.
And what did you call Virginia?
Nanny. Yes, ma'am.
When you were younger, what relationship did you think you had with Virginia and William?
Those are my grandparents.
Excuse my handwriting.
You're totally fine.
Now, when you were younger, did you have an understanding of the term great-granddaughter?
No, ma'am.
Had you heard that term?
I would hear my nanny tell other people that I was her great-granddaughter.
And what was your
But not
understanding
ever did.
of what Nana was telling other people?
I thought that meant out of all of her grandchildren that I was her favorite.
You thought that you were the favorite, you were the greatest and the best.
Yes.
Now, where were you raised?
With Kathy in Locust Grove.
And is that down in Henry County?
It is in Henry County.
And who lived in the house with you when you were younger?
At the time, it was Kathy and Boo, and also Kitty, me, Joey. Kitty was also with a man named Philip, and they had a baby, Tristan. Sorry.
So you said it was Kathy, what was Kitty's boyfriend?
She was with a man, Philip, and they had Tristan.
And then you and Joey?
And then me and my brother Joey. Yes, ma'am.
And what did they call you?
Chrissy.
Now, your Nana and Pawpaw, where do they live?
Stockbridge.
Now, to your knowledge, when you were younger, did your family have property in the city of Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay. How did you become aware that your family had property in the city of Atlanta?
Nanny and Kathy would take us up there to check on the properties.
Do you know where the properties were?
Brookline, off of Avon Avenue.
Do you know how many properties that they have on Brookline?
I know of at least 3.
All on Brookline?
Yes, ma'am. Across the road from each other.
Speak up, Brent.
I'm sorry, across the road from each other.
And you said 2 of them were across the street from each other.
They were.
Did you have any family that lived in any of those 3 houses?
As far as I know, it was only family in the house.
Only family. Who lived on Brookline? What family members?
There was Nene and Pawpaw's first son, Ricky.
Okay.
One of Nene's brothers.
Do you know his name?
It was either Roy or Troy. They were twins, and I'm not sure which one of the twins.
Anyone else?
And then my parents had the other property.
Your parents had the other property.
Mm-hmm.
And we say your parents, talking about Melissa and
Chris and Melissa, yes, ma'am.
Now I want to talk about your childhood, probably somewhere between the ages of 8 and
Okay.
younger. Okay.
Okay.
That period of your childhood. And what year were you born?
1995.
So around 2003.
Okay.
Okay. What was your relationship like with Chris?
I didn't know him at the time until he came to visit Kathy at her Locust Grove house.
You said you didn't know him at the time?
No.
Okay. And you said not until he came to visit at Kathy's house?
He came to talk with Kathy. I'm not sure what for, but they were just talking, and I happened to be there at the time.
When he would come over and talk to Kathy, would he spend time with you?
Very little.
Your earliest memory about how old do you think you are?
Would have been about 5.
At that time when you saw him coming to speak to Kathy, around 5 years old, did you know he was your biological father?
No, ma'am.
At any point in your childhood, between 5 and 8, did you come to learn that he was your biological father?
Yes, I was told by Kathy he was my dad after that visit.
At that time, once you learned that Chris was your father, did you know who your mother, your biological mother was?
No, ma'am.
Did Kathy or Chris ever explain to you at that time who your biological mother was?
No, ma'am.
As a child, what did you think about Chris being your father and now Kathy being your mother, as you thought in your head at that time?
It was very confusing. Didn't make sense.
Why?
It just seemed odd. I thought Boo was my dad, so.
Now, do you have any memory of Melissa?
No, ma'am.
Now, when you were younger, did you ever see any pictures of Melissa?
I saw a picture that had been behind the door, and it got taken down.
Behind the door?
The front door of Kathy's house.
About how old were you, do you think, when you saw this picture behind the door?
About 5.
And when you say behind the door, is this the bedroom door, bathroom door, kitchen door?
The living room door.
And explain when you say behind the door, is it like a picture that was on the door, on the wall, or something else?
It was on the wall behind the door.
Why did you think that that was a picture of your mother?
It was a picture of me and my brother, very small, and it was when I saw that there was Chris, the man that I had just seen, was also there posed as the dad, and there was another woman that I didn't recognize.
Did you ever ask anyone about that picture?
Yes,
Who did you ask?
Kathy.
At this point, do you remember any response that Kathy gave about that picture?
She took the picture down.
Before taking the picture down, did she explain who the lady was in the picture?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever see any other pictures with that lady between that age of 5 and 8?
I found them probably closer to being 8 or 9 in Kathy's closet.
When you said they were in Kathy's closet, describe to jury what you're talking about.
So in the top of the master closet, it was a walk-in closet. She had lots of photo albums. So I pulled some down, started going through the pictures, and saw a lot more pictures of the same woman that had been in that picture.
And when you saw these photos of that same woman, what did you do?
Wanted to go to Kathy and ask her about them.
And did you, I'm sorry.
Just that she packed them up. She didn't want to talk about it.
So, sorry, I'm saying clearly, after you saw the pictures, you went and asked Kathy about those pictures.
Yes, ma'am.
Did she ever give you explanations as to who that person was?
No, ma'am.
What did she do with the pictures after you asked her about them?
She took the photo albums and moved them to a shed in the backyard.
So that removing them from her closet and taking them outside of the house into a shed.
The shed was actually a locked shed, and the key to the shed was in Boo's room separate from the master room.
After she took those pictures and put them in the shed and locked them, did you ever see those pictures ever again?
No, ma'am.
After not seeing those pictures, did you ever see any other pictures of your mother?
I did get some pictures from Nanny. She had some at her house, but she let me have copies of them.
You said she did let you have copies?
She did.
Now, did Nanny ever explain to you who the lady was in those pictures?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that how you learned who your mother was?
Yes, ma'am.
Without telling me what Nana said, was Nana ever able to tell you about the relationship between your biological mother and Chris?
She explained it was very troubled.
Do you have any knowledge as to whether or not Chris and Melissa lived with your Nana?
Yes.
Did they ever live with your Nana?
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
Not before 2003. I would have been much older.
around 2003, how did you come to learn about Melissa's appearance?
At the funeral.
When you say the funeral, what funeral?
Melissa's funeral.
And sitting here today, can you remember when the funeral was?
Would have been early in the year. I want to say either 2002 or 2003.
Did your Nana ever talk to you about Melissa's parents?
Yes.
If we're talking about 2003, did Nana speak to you about Melissa's parents before the funeral or after the funeral?
It was on the way to the funeral.
And on the way to the funeral, did you get an understanding of who Melissa's parents were to you?
No, we were told they were bad people and that we didn't want to talk to them.
And who was relaying this information?
Kathy and Nanny.
Now, when you get to the funeral, let me actually strike that. Who all went to the funeral that you can remember?
Kathy, Nanny, me, my brother, Kitty, and Chris.
And did everyone, from what you can remember, want to go to the funeral?
No, ma'am.
Who didn't want to go to the funeral?
Chris and Kathy both didn't want to go.
And this was the funeral of your mother,
Yes, ma'am.
Melissa.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, once you got to the funeral, strike that, I'm making that inference. Did you get to the funeral?
Yes, ma'am.
Once you got to the funeral, did you see the individuals identified as the Pattons?
Yes, ma'am.
How were you made aware that some people there were the Pattons?
They were sitting on the front row.
And seeing them, was that your first time ever seeing any of the people identified as the Pattons?
I realized I had seen Norma Patton before.
How had you seen Norma Patton previously?
She showed up at Kathy's front yard asking where her daughter was.
So this funeral was in 2003. About how much time before had Norma shown up at Kathy's house looking for her daughter?
It had been about 2 years at that point.
Now, going back to when, you used to call her Norma?
Yes,
When Norma showed up at the yard looking for her daughter, can you tell the jury what you remember about that?
yes. We had just pulled in ourselves, so we were getting out of the car, and another woman pulled up, parked on the road, and got out and was yelling at Kathy, asking where her daughter was.
Dr. Hearsay.
You're right. I'm not offering it for the truth of the matter, sir. I'm offering.
Come here.
You need to ask a question?
Please.
Sure. Tell the jurors what you recall happening when this woman appeared at your home.
Yes. Okay. Yes, we had just gotten home ourselves. She pulled up and parked on the road and got out of her car and started yelling at Kathy, asking where her daughter was. Kathy said, "I thought she was with you," and she said, "You know she's not with me. She's with Chris."
Were you asked to do anything at that point?
I was told to go inside the house.
And did you all go in the house?
We went right in front of the screen door.
So is it like little kids, you still went to hear what's going on
yes.
outside? All right, I understand. And you said the we. Who is the we?
Me and my brother Joey.
At that time when this incident occurred, did you know who that lady was?
No.
At that time, did you know that that was your biological grandmother?
No, ma'am.
Did you know who her daughter was, who she was referencing?
No, ma'am.
Did you have any idea the person she was referencing was your mother?
No, ma'am.
And even after that incident, did Kathy ever explain to you who this lady was to you?
No, she said she was confused.
Now, going back to the funeral, now, in 2003, you said that it was at the funeral that you now made the connection that this lady who's at the funeral is this lady that you had saw a few years prior.
Yes, ma'am.
At the funeral, did you ever have the occasion to speak with that lady?
No.
You said that they were all sitting on the front row. Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Did you speak to any of the people that were sitting on the front row?
Not that I remember.
And I should ask this, were you all in a church, a funeral home, something else? We don't remember.
No, it was at the cemetery.
Now, at the time, what was your understanding of the service that was
We were told it was a celebration of life, not an actual funeral, and that the casket was empty.
And was there a casket there?
There was.
At this point, had you started asking questions about this woman you saw in the pictures?
Yes.
What kind of questions were you asking?
That was essentially when we pieced that the woman from the front yard was our grandmother, and the woman she had been talking to was our mom.
And at this point, do you ask Chris or Kathy about your mom?
Yes.
And what's Chris's response when you start asking about your mom?
That she left. She was on her way to California.
And I should ask, is this before the funeral or after the funeral?
This was right after the funeral.
So
We didn't have questions before, sorry.
So even after the funeral and the memorial, is it my understanding that Chris is still telling you that she's left and on her way to California?
Yes, ma'am.
And that although there's a casket, she's not in the casket, she's on her way to California.
Right.
As a child, what were your thoughts about that?
It was very odd. We had been to funerals before, but they weren't exactly like that. Normally there was like a visitation before, and then you went to the cemetery. So it did seem different than other funerals we had been to. But we had never been told that the casket was empty when we went to other funerals.
Now, did there ever come a point where you started trying to find information on your own about your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do?
I went to Google.
And without telling me anything you read, did you begin to find articles?
Yes, ma'am.
Once you began Googling and finding articles, what, if anything, did you do?
That was when I had more questions, first for Kathy and then eventually for Chris.
And did you ask Kathy your questions?
Yes, ma'am.
What type of questions did you ask Kathy?
I would ask questions like, so they had been married, because I wasn't sure I was putting in Melissa Patton when I first tried to Google her and couldn't find stuff. So I would ask Kathy, like, were they married? So her last name was Wolfenbarger. How long had they been married? And she just finishes
Back
in.
to hearsay.
Don't tell me if she responded. Were you
Okay.
able to ever get any answers?
No, ma'am.
Did you then ask Chris about your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
And what, if anything, would he say to you when you began asking Chris?
Object to hearsay.
Your party opponent information.
Overruled.
The first time I tried to ask him questions, he didn't say anything at all. He sat in total silence for what felt like an hour.
At any point in time, did he answer any of your questions?
Not until I was about middle school age.
Now, what happened around middle school when you would ask Chris questions?
Chris had a new baby. That's when Alias was born. He had gotten with Crystal and had Alias.
Now, did you ever ask Chris about locations where they may have stayed or where she may have been or anything like that?
Yes, regularly.
Tell the jury like the type of questions you would ask.
I would ask questions like, where was she staying? Where was she working? Like he would say she would run off. So like, where would she run off to? Never was told a location though.
So when you would ask detailed questions, would he ever be able to provide you detailed answers?
No, ma'am.
And at that time, as you're getting older in middle school, do you still think your mother had just kind of went and started to ran off to a different place?
Part of me did, yeah.
Now, you said around middle school, did your relationship, prior to this, what was your relationship like with Chris?
We didn't have much of one, to be honest.
Did there ever come a time when you and Chris developed a relationship?
Yes, I would say about 2006.
Can you describe to the jury how did your relationship develop around 2006?
For several years, he had been living down in Savannah and then again in Dublin. So just because of the distance, we wouldn't see him very much. But about 2005, he moved back up towards Henry County and then to Griffin. So we saw him a lot more often.
Now, during this time in 2006, I know you spoke to Chris about your mother. Would you ever still speak to Kathy about your mom now around this 2006 time frame?
Not as much, just because we knew we wouldn't get information from her.
Now, did you ever live with Chris?
My senior year of high school.
Why did you end up living with Chris?
Wound up fighting with Kathy pretty regularly by the time I was in high school. And so at the time I was 17, I was like, I can figure it out from here. And Chris actually met me at a Waffle House and asked me not to do that, to stay with him until I turned 18.
And did you stay with him until you turned?
I did.
Now, what about Joey? Did Joey move with you and Chris, or did Joey stay with Kathy?
Joey stayed with Kathy then, but did end up moving with Chris after I had moved out.
And when you lived with Chris, who all lived with you?
That was Chris and Crystal. Crystal had Brianna and Alias and me.
And about what year is this?
Would have been December 2012 to October 2013.
Is it 2013?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, as a young adult or high school, did you ever get into kind of true crime television?
I did.
How did you get to watching true crime television?
I was very interested. There was a rise of true crime shows at that time too, like Law and Order and Criminal Minds and all of that. I was in a criminal justice class in high school, so we would watch some of the episodes during class, and then I would go home and watch more.
And did you ever talk to your dad about some of the shows that you were watching?
We did.
And what would you talk to him about?
Anytime there was a case that just seemed interesting or, like not a typical case, we would talk about it when we were in the car.
And would he ever have any response about what you were telling him about those types of shows?
Yes. There would be times where we would talk about it, and it would be, there was a time in particular where he said that that wasn't the way that they should have done it.
And when you said that was the way that you should have done, explain to me kind of what you said to him, what you remember, and his response. Give me some more context.
Yes, it was a murder case, and the person had been free for several times. Like, it was a very old murder case that he had been found on. And Chris said that that wasn't the way that he should have hid the body to begin with. You go out there when they're about to build a new house and put it under where the foundation of the house is going to go. And so when the crew comes back to lay the foundation the next morning, they're just going to continue building the house.
So was he trying to explain, is that how you hide a body?
Yes, ma'am.
And when he said that to you, what was your reaction to that?
It caught me off guard at first.
You said at first?
Yes, we were on our way to the gas station, so it was kind of convenient time for him to say it. I could just kind of sit there until he got done pumping gas. And then the conversation resumed after.
Did you ever ask him any questions once he said, this is how you kind of hide the body, you bury it under
Yes, it was like, it sounds like you're talking about my mom.
That's what you said to him.
Right.
Did he have a reaction?
Yes.
What was that?
That was when he told me that he didn't know where my mom was. He didn't know if she was in heaven, hell, Stockbridge, but he wished that he did.
And when he said he doesn't know if she was in heaven, hell, or Stockbridge, was that now different than her being in California or somewhere else?
Very much so.
Now, did Chris ever talk to you about places to hide?
Places to hide?
Or having places to go to hide?
Not that I know of directly. It would be like through other people.
What do you mean?
Like,
Object to hearsay.
yeah, like through Joey.
Hey,
Okay,
thank you.
so he never told you directly?
No, ma'am.
Do you recall ever talking to some law enforcement about kind of conversations with your dad?
I remember talking to a detective in 2021.
And do you recall if you ever talked to them about some of these things that your father would say?
Yes.
Objection.
Mr. McDermott, what's the basis of the objection?
Withdrawn for the moment, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
And do you remember talking to them about your father telling you about having places to hide or knowing where to go to have places to hide?
You're right.
In 2021? I can't recall. I'm sorry.
Or in any kind, how many times do you think you spoke in with law enforcement? And I'm talking about the prosecutors, police.
Several times since 2021. Yes.
Do you remember in any of those conversations ever telling police that your father would tell you that he had places to hide or he would know where to go and hide?
Sorry. No. Sorry.
On a Zoom with Mr. Fawcett, Mr. Wilson, and Detective Shepard?
Yes.
And do you remember maybe a phone call in maybe about 2015 with a Sergeant Lacoste, a telephone call?
I did make a phone. Yes.
And do you remember maybe another telephone call with a investigator Shepard by himself?
Yes, I did.
And I want to just make sure I'm accurate. Is it that today you don't remember having any conversations in any of those scenarios about
Objection asked and answered.
Overruled.
about Chris talk to you about having places to hide?
I'm sorry. Can you ask me that one more time? I'm sorry.
No problem. Is it your testimony, if I want to make sure I'm clear, that you don't remember in any of those conversations talking to any of those individuals about Chris having a place to hide? Or telling you that
The most that I can remember is him saying he could get away.
okay. What do you remember about that?
Just that he was able to get away.
Is that the only thing he said, or is there more context to that statement?
I remember like when he got his license in 2013 and he came back home to show us the license, it had his old address on it. And he said during that conversation that when they come looking for me, they'll go to East McIntosh, not Liberty Circle.
And he said when they come looking for me, did he ever talk about the who or the they that they were referring to?
No, ma'am.
Now, knowing the funeral, you said that you saw these individuals and you knew them to be the Pattons. Did there ever come a point where you actually officially met the Pattons?
Not until I was 19.
What happened when you were 19 when you met the Pattons?
I was on Facebook, and on the People You May Know, I saw my mom's picture, and it had her name as if it was her Facebook page. So I clicked on it, and it explained that, you know, we've been fighting for justice. So I messaged the page to be, who is we? You know, like, who is running this page, and who are you? And that's when I was told that it was her family, the Pattons, that have been running the page. And so I introduced myself over Facebook Messenger, and then we set up a time to meet at a Moe's in McDonough.
And when you met at the Moe's in McDonough, is that the first time at 19 that you'd ever really met the Pattons?
Right.
Who all was at that meeting?
And that meeting was Norma Patton, Tina Patton, her son, JC, and her daughter, Kimberly.
Whose son and daughter is Stacey?
Tina Patton.
And at that point, did you recognize any one of those individuals?
Yes.
Who did you recognize?
I recognized Norma from her car in the parking lot. It was the same car.
The same car from when?
From when she stopped out front of Kathy's house, from the funeral, it had been the same car the whole time.
And about what year is this that you're 19?
That would have been 2014.
So she had the same car in 2003.
Yes.
Gotta hold on to the cars. And when you met the Patton family, did they talk to you about your mother and who she was?
Yes.
Since meeting the Patton family, what is your relationship like?
I mean, we met frequently. I moved to Valdosta shortly after that and spent 5 years there. And then I came back up to Conyers in 2020. So that was over COVID. We didn't see each other that much then either.
And now, do you even live in the state of Georgia?
No, ma'am. I'm in Tennessee.
And at this point in your life, how often do you see the Patton family?
Not often.
Is it fair to say that this week you've seen them multiple times?
Right, aside from this week.
Prior to this week, when was the last time you think you saw the Pattons?
It's been at least a year.
Prior to this week, when was the last time you spoke to anyone in the Patton family?
Last would have spoke to Norma Patton, and that would have been several months ago.
And out of everyone, Norma, Tina, your cousins, who do you speak with the most?
Norma Patton.
What is your relationship like with your brother, Joey?
I haven't talked to him in several years either.
To your knowledge, who was Joey living with?
Kathy.
Do you have any knowledge of Joey's relationship with the Pattons?
I don't think he has one.
Now, I'm going to first ask about Joey. To your knowledge, what is Joey's relationship like with the Wolfenbargers?
As far as I know, he still talks to him.
And he still lives with Kathy.
Object to leading.
As far as I know.
Sustained.
And does he still live with Kathy?
As far as I know.
When is the last time you spoke to Kathy?
2017, maybe?
Do you have a relationship at all with any other Wolfenbargers?
No, ma'am.
Just time-wise, when's the last time you spoke to Chris?
2013. I think I saw him once in 2017.
And you have a current relationship with Chris?
No, ma'am.
Just indulge us for a moment.
Sure.
further questions.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to take a quick break, just that afternoon break, 10 minutes or so. Try and get back in here as close to 3:45 as we can. So the jury's excused for 10 minutes. Thank you. Ma'am, you may step down until we call you back, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We're on recess for 10 minutes. Thank you.